Thank you, everybody, for joining us on the Go Team Live podcast. It's exciting to have Travis Eastman with us today. We had been working on having Trav on last week, but a very important meeting came up with one of his clients, or he's an addiction coach, so he was called out to help out with a family there. So that was difficult for him and for us. It wasn't an easy road. And what I'm realizing with this live recording is it is kind of challenging to manage. We had lined up Emma Mansa, a friend of mine, the godmother of my third child. She has cancer, and she had to go to hospital because she has potential internal bleeding. So yeah, she called me this morning and said, she messaged me and said, I'm going to miss this. Having to go to hospital. So I had a really good chat with her on Sunday, and they say always be recording. So it's a shame because I was really having such a good, hour-long chat with her, and we're really looking forward to seeing where that would go. But the reality is true that I'm getting guests on this call that are actually doing things in their life, meaningful things, and they're in situations where they're under pressure, really, generally. It's not going to be always, the same situation, obviously, but the truth is that when you are under pressure in life, that you do create some, enlightened thoughts and moments that really create something that is change in you that makes for that perspective shift that some people may miss out on if you're lucky enough to live a life that's, without too much challenge, which, we're never going to miss out on life. There's always going to be challenges. So these lessons that we, uncover here are trying to fast forward our ability to be able to navigate life potentially when things do get difficult. So I've got Trav on for the call. How are you going, Trav?
Good. Yeah. Sorry.
You can stay unmuted. You're good.
Okay.
You're important here. Hey, so Trav, I met Trav in COVID times when we had a Zoom meeting call, not unlike this, for the Authentic Man with David Rowe and Daniel Hancock's. And Trav was kind of in the shadows of the call. He was kind of pushed back, and he had a look on his face that was interesting to me. And he did have things to say, and he didn't have a lot to say, but when he said something, he hit the nail on the head. There's no missing the nail when it comes to Trav. Trav, he has a different sort of energy, and we can, like chatting with Emma, we have such amazing conversations. I've hung out with Trav. I've gone down the beach, gone surfing. Trav's gifted me the couch that I have here. After going around and buying it, he wouldn't take any money off me. He's an ultra marathon runner. So he's a man that's not afraid of pain. Grew up as a pro football player in Ireland and the USA. And he's a hard nut. So he's picked up the concrete trail, and he's been concreting to a point of almost breaking him. Whether it was situation or the job, we will never know. But he was walking around town, and he found himself a chef school. So in a time of need, he walks in and picks up a knife in the most creative way he could fashion, which was cutting up carrots and things to feed the masses. And that he has such an interesting take on things, which we can get to later. But he's a man that, he's got a couple of kids, and they mean the world to him. And watching them in a place of pain, and his empathetic heart that never wants to see, his own kids go through the challenges as he did, without the support and mechanisms and tools that he has picked up over the course of, his own journey. He's now working on a youth program to be able to promote this and to help as many people in the world as he possibly can. So I'd like to introduce you, Trav, and thank you so much for making it here tonight. And I would like to ask you how you're going, and then if you would like to walk us through a meditation. Or can I just drop in there? When Trav dropped a meditation at the EQ Center, Davey Rose EQ Center in Wangara, we had a breathwork session. And I had this epiphany, right, during that breathwork session that, long story short, got me to where I am right now. Because I said to myself during that session that I love doing this work, and there's nothing that can stop me from working hard at what I want to do in the well-being space. And there is no timeline that's going to stop. Like I can give myself the space to be able to just work on what I love, and hopefully it should all work out. And here we go. Here we are right now. Trav, thank you so much. The microphone is yours. Thanks, man.
No worries, man. And yeah, thank you for having me tonight. It's kind of a bit chaotic. I've got my parents over from the States visiting at the minute, so it's a very full house. And then it's my week with my kids, so it's like, right, get the hell out of the kitchen and the living room and everything, and go to your rooms because I need this space. So yeah, a bit hectic, but as we know, but no, it's good to be here, and thank you very much for having me. And this is, like reading over what you've sent me on what to talk about and everything. It's kind of really, it's almost brought me back, sort of where we live this chaotic life outward, and then you doing something like this, it kind of brings it back into perspective. So it's nice, and thank you very much. Yeah.
Yeah, man. You're a legend.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll just do a quick meditation. So I was thinking about, I wasn't sure on how I was going to do this, and I don't know what sort of time frame I have with this, but I'll just do a quick one. So what I'll get you guys to do is just slowly soften your eyes if you can, close them down, and really just try to focus on your breath. With all meditation, I believe, obviously meditation is a practice, so we need to really practice on our breath as well. So if you can combine the two, it's great. So really just focus on that breath, and if you bring it in through your nose and slowly out through your mouth, and we'll just continue to do that over a bit of time. Just really find that breath slowly. Now, we all go through things during the day, the trappings of everyday life, traffic, kids. I have to wait too long in line for a coffee, all these things, and they stress us out. But I think when we find our breath throughout the day, if we consciously find that breath, and if you can breathe in through your nose when you're finding this and out through your mouth, it really centers you. So just keep finding that and listening to that breath. And what I'll get you to do now is when you inhale, I want you to consciously hold that breath on the intake. And I want you to just apply a little bit of pressure to the top, or the roof of your mouth, and start to really focus on pushing that pressure to your brain to activate that brain. And when you feel comfortable, you can breathe out through your mouth and then back in through your nose. and apply that pressure. And when you're doing this, this really focuses the energy going to your brain to activate those really blissful states. And when you release your breath, I want you to release everything that you've held in for the day, all the stresses, everything. So you could consciously put all these little trappings that we have during the day and put them into a box. So in through the nose, hold all those trappings in. Put them in that box. And when you exhale, just release everything. Consciously have that thought of releasing everything from the day. Release those feelings. And when you guys are ready, just consciously, slowly bring your awareness back. Back to the room. Breathe out. Let it all go. Doesn't matter. Just a simple little one. There you go.
Thank you,
That's
man.
what I got. I do
Good reset.
I do every morning I leave quite early in the morning for work, and no matter what I do, I have to do about a 10-minute meditation in the car. It's like it literally just I have to do it now. It's part of my
Before you leave?
yeah. So I sit in the car and I don't know why I've started doing this. Well, I've been doing it in a long time now, but consciously every day I do it in the car. And it's like if I don't do it, I have the worst day. Like it's part of life now.
Mm.
And if I don't do it, then that's me wrecked. It's like the domino effect of everything in the day just does not add up. And so, yeah.
Like your lucky jocks.
Yeah. I just got new ones for Father's Day too. They're really cool. They're like SpongeBob ones. They're really good.
Hey, are you wearing them now? No, we'll move on. So tell me, Jav, where were you at when I first met you? When I was looking at this man in the screen, where were you at that point in early COVID times?
Yeah, this in the crux of an addiction. Alcoholism ruled my life. So, yeah, it was really bad, really bad. And it wasn't, I had been through a lot just before that as well. And I was just battling with that. And, yeah, you know, a lot of people hated COVID or still hate it. I loved it. It changed me. It really helped. So I'm very grateful. Yeah.
Yeah. So you were
Yeah.
turning up to these calls
Yeah.
and you were working on not drinking to get on the call. Was that like a helpful aspect
Yeah.
or?
But then, you know, sometimes you think you're being cool because you stand way back and now you don't think anybody can see you, but obviously everybody sees you still. And you know, yeah, it was, you know, it was struggle street, you know. I had to, yeah, it was bad.
Now, I spoke, I mean, it's one of the more interesting stories I've ever heard in my life about you, I say jumping out of the building, but what can you remember
Yeah.
about that time where you did try and take your
Yeah.
life jumping out of a building?
Yeah. So I was living in the city at the time. Um and it was living in just a one studio apartment on Mounts Bay Road. And it was quite funny. I didn't even look at the apartment when I rented it, and it's when I showed up with the keys to move in. It's funny, there's a bottle shop right at the bottom of the apartment block, and it was kind of like I've just moved into Mecca. It was beautiful for an alcoholic to, like, what are the odds? And it was kind of like, yes, all I had to do was go to the bottom of the lift, and I was, it was beautiful. So it was like, Jesus. So yeah, it was really bad, and I was living there, and I wasn't ever seeing my kids. Was heavily addicted to painkillers as well, and obviously that mixed with some really, really strong antidepressants sent me into a massive spiral very quick. And then it became, a weekly habit of me trying to end my own life. And yeah, it was really just a really dark period. And my last attempt on my own life, I I don't even know how much to drink, couldn't tell you. It was kind of just topping up, and a lot of painkillers and probably half a sheet of my antidepressants. And I walked out to my balcony, and yeah, that was that. And I just sort of leaned over and went, okay, world, goodbye, and went. And I don't remember much, obviously, after that. So I fell, and I went 4 stories and hit a car on a bonnet. And I had really badly sort of sprained my ankle and KO'd myself. And my next door neighbor had gone down to pick up his laundry, and found me on the bonnet of this Mercedes. And yeah, he sort of pushed me a bit and woke me up. And I was like, ah, God, not again, and not wanting to be here. I was really upset. And then he said, oh, well, if you're not doing anything, come up for a beer. So I said, well, may as well. Yeah, and so I went up and we drank all night as well. And then it was the next morning, I that was that. I had to change. So yeah, that was kind of the last. And from that moment on, it's been a, wonderful, uh, very painful but beautiful journey to where I'm at right now. So, you know, it's been hard, very hard, but so beautiful. So, and life is it's amazing when you stop living a lie and actually start living. It's a beautiful thing. Life is a beautiful thing. So, yeah.
Yeah. What would be one of the things that helped you with your moving out of that addiction?
There's been so many. Yeah, I think one of the biggest one has been meditation and studying meditation and practicing meditation, exercise, healthy eating. But I think one of the biggest one is finding love, but not finding love with other people or, partner or whatever, but actually learning to love myself for all my shit. And yeah, that would be the biggest one, is finding out that I am a good person. Yeah.
Now, one of the things I find interesting when I'm chatting with you, and I had called you, one of my friends had taken his own life, and that was really hard for me to comprehend. And you had a different take on suicide itself, which I never heard and I never kind of expected and I respect your the growth and the journey you've been on. So when you speak, Trav, I listen, and speak to us about your
My
thoughts on
take on
suicide, because at the time when I must have said something along the lines of, like he's obviously left his family who are just in, absolutely shattered for the loss and the way it's happened. And you said something along the lines of it was maybe the bravest thing he's ever done. And so talk to me on your take on how, the headspace and the way that this looks, because we've all been affected by suicide in in our lives. No one hasn't been touched by it, no matter how close. So it's
yeah, yeah. It's like it's it was a hard. It is a hard thing to comprehend, but I also believe it takes a tremendous amount of guts to do. Like it is a brave thing to do. You are in a very low place, and a lot of people look at it as their mental state, and that is a big part as well. But actually doing it takes a lot of guts to do things, especially harm yourself. Because I find it to be it is a brave thing, and well, that's my thought and my opinion, and it is, you could look at it a lot of ways. It's selfish, leaving people behind. What were they thinking about? A lot of times they're thinking too much. We think too much, and it is, and it is a brave thing, and it does take a lot of guts, especially when I'm very open to talking about suicide, and it's very dear to my heart. Not only because I've tried it countless times myself. I was this end of this last year, I was counseling a young gentleman, and he in November, I was meant to see him on I helped him get into a rehab in Perth Clinic, and then he managed to check himself out. I was meant to see him on the Friday. I couldn't. I had to pick my youngest up from school, and they found his body later on that day. So it was, it was, and I know the headspace he was at, and I had to go and speak with his parents. That was a very hard thing, to do, and it when people are hurting that bad, it's very brave to do those things, and sometimes people are hurting that bad that's sometimes they're not hurting anymore. So it's a hard thing to take. It's a hard thing. That's all, you know. Yeah.
But you did say when we were talking about this earlier, like it's not like you're taking your hat off to them, but you're giving them
No.
you're giving them grace of the
Yeah.
challenge that
No,
they're
I'm not saying anything like that. No, not in the slightest. It's just I understand, you know.
Hmm.
It is a very brave thing, but and I'm not, condoning it or anything. I
Hmm.
would never, there's so many, I wish I could talk to every I've I think my last count now, I have 28 friends now, all dead. So, you know, it's a horrible thing. And as my mother said, when I left America, she said, "I'm glad you left because you'd either be in jail or dead." And she's right, because I only have two friends left from my youth, you know. So it's, yeah, it's really,
That's
yeah.
significant, man. I'm sorry about that.
Ah,
Yeah.
mm,
So, what are you working on now? Your journey has led you to working on a youth program, the
yeah,
Evolutionaries.
yeah.
And that's
Uh,
obviously lighting you up at the moment, making your head spin in all these positive ways and ways to create a path and a journey for people to take. Take us
yeah,
on a little bit of see the map that you've got developing.
yeah. So I'm a really, really brilliant friend of mine, like a brother to me. Uh, and my business partner, Michael Henderson, he does breath work. He's a breathwork facilitator, and me and him have joined up to create the Evolutionaries, which is it's a it's a way to teach the youth of today how to become the leaders of tomorrow. Because I felt I had this thing go down with my eldest son and the anxiety that he went through. I was like, I need to do something in order to help him, and I created this program, which is a beautiful thing in self teaching kids about self regulation, everything, almost like life skills for these young men. And we are going to be working with young ladies as well. And it's just, yeah, it's my new passion. I've sort of, it's like I don't want to see the youth of today go down the same road that I went down. I mean, we all have friends that are probably, you know, addicted to things, or you know, in jail or dead, or things that don't need to happen if you have the tools and tips and everything that you can use to, you know, steer through these crazy times. You know, there's a all these kids nowadays are addicted to these, or computers or video games or whatever, and I think we've all lost sight of what truly makes us happy. And that's, I just want to give back to these kids to show them the true potential every single one of us truly has. And we have the power to heal. We have the power to overcome anything. So that's what my new sort of found love is doing that.
Mm. Well, question
Yeah.
without notice. Since you pointed out the addiction to phones and addiction is one of your, you know, pieces of, you know,
Yeah.
interest, paths of interest. What advice can you give people that have kids that are addicted to their iPad or their phone? Like, what do you possibly do there in this modern age?
I don't know if you want to know. um, yeah, like you know, I share custody with my ex-wife, and you know, it's hard in that sense. I can't, uh, I can't be the man, or I can't be the boss at her house. So what goes at her house, I had to, you know, I let me tell you, I tried, but you know, you can't do that in that sense. But I think, well, for me, I basically they have a TV. That's it at my house, but that's my house, you know. And I'm not. My belief is, if you can't use your imagination, I don't know, go to bed. You know, it's
So it's
like,
just hard, you know, you just play that hard line.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And you're not getting anything at my house. You will not have a PlayStation. You will not. You can have a computer. The eldest has got a computer for school, but that's it.
Mm.
Um, and phone is, you know, you can have your phone, but it's when you go to bed, it stays in the kitchen. Yeah, so maybe I'm a bit old school in that sense, but you know, that works for me. Um, in a sense, you know, I have a friend who's got, you know, two kids, and she uh, believes in a lot of stuff, but then obviously uh, gave iPads and everything, and it's kind of like, well, yeah, you're not really doing what you're speaking. What is that? What's that phrase? practice what you preach, sort of thing, you know. I guess in regards to if you got any, I think time limits are good. You know, homework done before you, if I definitely homework or whatever schoolwork done, if you that sort of thing before, if you play on it. Weekends I would just be like, yeah, nah, not happening. You know, and I think the biggest tip I can give is get your kids and get in nature. That's it. Is you know, Mother Nature can heal us all, ground us. If you give your kids the best options or better options than being on a device, you know, we can all do the research. I mean, the studies are out there for sleep, what it does for sleep, all these devices. It's horrible. It's even us as well. You know, and it's just, yeah. I think limiting time, weekends would be a definite no-go. Um, Another thing to do is maybe like, oops, sorry, I accidentally dropped off the table and it broke, and you're not getting another one for a while. I don't know, you could always try that. Or, you know, I don't know. I threatened the hammer once with the phone, but that was just me.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, this is
yeah,
why I brought you on, Trav, because it's that sort of mentality that you don't get
yeah,
out of the Kellogg's box. So thank you,
yeah,
my man.
no
Now
worries.
tell me, before we get to your question, if you can choose one question, I know you've got a couple
Yeah,
down there.
yeah.
Where was your headspace at to get you to this question? Like what were you thinking? What
It's
cogs were
funny you ask that. It's funny you ask that. This is a question I actually, me and my mom ask each other quite a lot. And I've actually started asking my kids this every time they're with me. And it's a beautiful thing. It's like, obviously, if you go back in my past, I could never see, I never saw the beauty in anything. I just didn't see anything. My eyes weren't open, if you know what I mean. I was heavily addicted, and, you know, I just I didn't see. Um, and that's where, when I was reading through this, you know, and finding out the questions, it came back to family and what I ask my own kids. So that's where this is, and this question, you know, is yeah, it's good. It hits home. So yeah, it's
yeah?
good.
I'll
Hopefully
unveil.
it's a very simple one.
Unveil. I'm excited. This is
Okay,
interesting.
so this is this question is it's a very easy question, but think about, like, dig deep when you're thinking about it, and if you want to talk about it or say what it is for you. But the question is, where is your happy place? And that's
Beautiful.
it.
That's
Yeah.
it.
And yeah, that's it.
I like the simplicity. I like the direction towards happiness and the where. So yeah, if we go, where's your happy place, Trav? While people are having a think about it.
Oh, well, mine is, it's funny, as mine is the same as my youngest son's. Is um underneath the ocean.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mine is exploring the deep blue sea. Mine is the ocean. I don't know what it is. If I'm next to the ocean, feel the ocean, smell the ocean, anything to do with the ocean, I am, I'm just, I'm so happy. I'm just, yeah, it's like no phasing me, no phasing me.
Yeah.
So, you know, and,
Well, that's that resonates with me. I would say the ocean is my happy place. And But you know what? It would also be sitting in a car. Sitting in a car, like driving to the beach. Like if I'm packing the car and driving to the beach, I've got my car full of surfboards and I'm pointing the car south.
Mm.
And the whole journey, but the car, the music, the sitting, the traveling, I think
Yeah.
that would be, as much as surfing itself is my destination, and that whole sitting in the water waiting for waves, being in that flow state is definitely my
Mm.
happy place. I get more time in the car, and
Yeah.
that thinking that, yeah, I'm not doing anything, I'm just, yeah, I can get that
Yeah.
more.
Mine is definitely like that resonates with me what you just said. Mine, like even thinking about it now, mine is like if I know I'm going to Denmark, I know like as soon as I pull into Denmark and I drive out to Ocean Beach, that's I could literally sit there for hours.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Oh,
Yes, that's
well,
it. Where is your happy place? That's an
where
easy.
is your happy place? Would anyone like to take that up? Justin, just unmute yourself as you
Yeah.
get to.
Um, when you that like you guys made that feel like that was my happy place too. Like that actually sounded amazing the way you guys described it. Um, I was actually thinking like when as soon as you asked the question, I like jolted to the end of it because the other day I was writing an entry on Game On and I put a lot of thought into my gratitude and what I wrote. I'll read what I wrote in it because that is genuinely my happy place. And I wrote, so on the 11th, I wrote, today I'm grateful for all the reading, writing, researching, and relaxing I've been able to give myself over the last couple of days. It's my happy place. It's definitely in exploring my interests at my own pace and fine-lining my own understanding of whatever it is I love diving deep into. And like, to me, that's basically like I work hard every day, do what I got to do, and then when I get time to just explore an idea and then try to make it on the computer or try to make that song or try to do that cool video animation or whatever, just figuring out how to do it is like my bliss. Like just sitting there, just alone with it.
Mandy, you're up.
For me, it didn't come up with a location initially. It came up with in my car. And I'm going, wow, I have such a busy life. And I always created that it's really busy and I'm always here, there, and everywhere. But where I'm really happy is when I have no expectations to be anywhere, to perform, to say anything, to do anything. And if I was to sit under a tree, the tree could be in the mountains or by the river or by the ocean. That's where I'm most grounded, but I can take flight at the same time. So that is for me most fulfilling.
Am I on, Peter?
Yep.
I've got a few happy places. Yeah, they can. Happy places can. Happy places are generally happen when you don't have to think. About anything. And that often happens to me. When I'm playing my music or on a dance floor, and yeah, those despite me doing that for many years, it still doesn't get old. So yeah, that's one of my happy places. And I suppose there's a kind of a different kind of happy place where you kind of get happiness from doing what you say that you're going to do, and you see these things coming into fruition. That's a happy place. It's satisfying. But really, I think number one is just being completely alone in my house with my fridge with stuff that I like in it and my phone off, right?
Mm.
And nothing to fucking worry about. Right? It's amazing.
Yeah.
And if I feel good and at ease within myself, within that space that I'm in, nothing rocks me off of that. It's great.
I love that. That was good. I keep my fridge very full.
G'day guys. My happy place would probably be completing building. I've been building for 27 years, I think. I've built for houses, apartments, walls. Now doing big footings for crushers. Just as soon as I start working, I love the completion of it, the thing that it's going to work for or do in the end. But yeah, always been outdoors, always worked hard. That's pretty much where my nickname came from, Jobby. Getting the job done, and yeah, I love my work.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Something about being productive is a really good vibe where you can see what you've achieved.
Yeah.
That is a simple happiness. Yeah, I love that. Well, thanks, Trav. That was really nice to get such a simple question that makes so much sense when it comes to the meaning of life, because we can kind of overcomplicate things and think that there's more to the question or the answer than there really is. In essence, simplifying life is the best thing for us, to be able to realize that we've got that potential to be able to create simplicity and find that satisfaction, that deep satisfaction, which may in essence just be the answer.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that thought. And simplifying life, or anything, I think is something that takes an element of intelligence to not get carried away with the details, but bringing it back into something that's a bit more easily digestible. Brilliant. Thank you, my man.
No worries.
Well, I'd like to take the opportunity to go around the room and see if anyone was willing to add what they're grateful for, what challenge that they've had this week, and maybe a win that's either it's been associated with the challenge or it's just a win that's come from any direction in your life that you so choose. So maybe we could, I don't know if you can answer this one, Trav, but being the guest, maybe you'd like to kick off.
Sure. One thing I'm deeply, deeply grateful for is having my family, my parents, like in my life, back in my life, because for too many years they sort of didn't, pick up the phone, if you know what I mean, or really sort of even want to talk to me. So it's a beautiful thing to have that back in your life. Very grateful, very grateful. A win that I've had this week is I got to leave work early today, and then I got to have a hot pot, which I think I spoke to you earlier about, which I do like. So that was a win. And then yeah, and I'm grateful that you allowed me to come on tonight, all you guys. I love meeting new people and being on these sort of things and getting the opportunity to talk and tell my side of my story, I guess, and where I've been and stuff like that. So I'm very grateful for that as well. So thank you.
Mm. Was there a challenge in there? Was there a challenge this week?
Challenge. Yes, a challenge. So I had some bad injuries, I guess you could say, and about 3-4 months ago. So I haven't been able to exercise as much as I want. And the challenge this week has been getting back into exercise. You know, the abs are just not the same. You know, once you take a few months off for an injury, you're like, oh God, you know, I had my birthday this last weekend, so it was like I'm feeling my age now. I'm like, oh well, it's just I'll struggle for another week and then I'll be all right.
Mm-hmm. You
Yeah,
love the pain.
I love it, man. Love it. Yeah.
Thank you, Trav.
No
Would
worries.
anyone else like to tag in for their gratitude challenge and win? Sam?
Oh yeah, righto. Yeah. A win. I haven't quite won yet, but I'm winning. Right. So the win is I can see it. It's going to land in a few weeks. So I'm in the process of I've got back from Thailand and thought, right, I've got this big job to do, which I've been meaning to do for 18 months, like rebrand the business. Yeah. And I was thinking, oh fucking hell, it's like it's gonna be so disruptive and it's gonna you know, all of this shit going on. I'm like, I've got to do it. And I'm right in the middle of it now and it's getting done. And you know, I've got a drone coming out next week to film us all in the city and yada yada yada. And I've written all the content for the website this week. So that's my win, even though I haven't won yet. Yeah, but I know that it's in the bag. But so yeah, that's what I'm grateful for that win. Yeah. My challenge is that I injured my right index finger about 6 weeks ago badly, and yeah, I've been to see a specialist and thinks I'm probably gonna have to. He's probably gonna get in there and cut it all open and fix it. And I could do without that going into the busy period. So yes, we might be able to get away with it doing exercises. As you can see, that's as far as I can bend it at the moment. So that's my challenge. So really, yeah, I don't have much to moan about.
No, appreciate that. Thanks, Sam. Justin.
I'm grateful, honestly, having an excuse to be inside today and, you know, having an excuse to be able to just be in the zone, like just be me today. You know, that sort of comes into my challenge, which is like I'm becoming aware of these things, but I'm still, for some reason, finding it challenging to just feel okay about me doing that because, you know, that is what I do. Like, you know, I sit in home and like I get shit done. And, you know, I shouldn't have to find reasons to explain that. But so it's challenging, you know, reminding myself of that. A win is that I realized that today. so that was a huge win, as well as like a whole lot of other things I've realized, including just seeing Travis talk. I know it's virtual, but you know, seeing you talk, you can really see it in your eyes when you're saying it, you know, and I can completely relate to a lot of the things you said that, you know, other people might not relate to. Huge win. I'm also feeling awesome about how many people came on tonight. It's awesome. That's me.
Thanks, Justin. Anyone else like to go next? No obligation yet. Joey?
Yep, I'll go. I'm grateful for a safe swing. I've got 7 people that work under me in the construction industry. Done a full week where no one got hurt, so that's really good for me. Being responsible for them. I call them my kids as well. They're my second sort of family, and I do care for them, and I do look out for them. My challenge for the week is working for Rio Tinto. They challenge me every single day, many times a day too. They're hard work, so they're my biggest challenge. And our win was getting up a 12 by 12 patio, which is quite a big patio. It's 3 meters in the air, and I've only got 1 chippy on the crew, and the other 6 are labourers. Quite a strange bunch, but they done really well to build that patio for us. So that was really good. So I'm pretty happy.
God, thanks, Shelby.
Yeah.
Mandy, you wanted to?
Yep, sure. Thank you. What do we start for? Grateful. Thanks for keeping it real. I love that it's so real and straight to the point. And Travis, it was a really sensitive subject for me that you covered tonight. Thank you very much for being so vulnerable. It was really, really great just hearing it from the other side, because I've been on this side a lot of times, and it's hard to know when to speak up to the person that is addicted, whether they want to be helped, whether they want to be approached. Especially when on my end, I don't have any idea about how I could help other than being there and just speaking up and holding the space. And so it's really great to hear firsthand from someone that experienced it himself, and the challenges that you face, you know, and the attempts on taking your own life and all of that, and how this not only affects you, but the way that you think on your side, being the action taker, but then what it leaves with the people that are left behind if it was to succeed. So it's quite touching just listening through it. So for me, it was a bit challenging actually listening through that, because I've been on the other side where ex-partners have been addicted, and where people have tried to take their lives or threatened that they would, and I didn't know, are they for real? But for me, I was always thinking, if I don't do anything, then I might regret not having done anything. So I took it always rather seriously, because I didn't want to regret one day not having spoken up. But then sometimes, unfortunately, it was a bit misused and abused. I would use the term where people just want attention, and that is probably not always or ever the case. But from this side, it comes across that way. So for me, like, I really enjoyed, even though it was so touchy, the subject, I really enjoyed tonight's subject. And it was a challenge as well when I first logged on, and I thought, oh, there's all men here. Maybe I should just hide and just turn off and get out of it again. But now I'm so glad that I stayed. So thank you so much for being so welcoming to everyone. And yeah, it's a win that I stayed, and I'm very grateful that everyone is so open and sharing, and yeah, trying one more time, even when we don't feel like it all the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mandy. Yeah, I second that. I'm so grateful to be here now in this place, because you know, Trav, you did get to share some valuable information and your story, and you know, I can think of how many people it can help to have somebody that's got lived experience be able to share their story, and their way out is critical, because people listen to people like you. Like it just has a greater depth that is very hard to find. And you know, I was super grateful to chat with Emma on Sunday, and you know, this morning it was super sad, and to hear of her not being able to be here tonight, and for you, you know, I checked in with you because I know it's not something that you can just jump up and start with a question as deep as, you know, what is the meaning of life? You know, what question can you pull? So I know it takes some headspace to be able to feel the freedom to be able to pull out that question. And so to have you here tonight is amazing. And my heart goes out to Emma and her family as they're dealing with these challenges. You know, and it's having that perspective shift, because like, while my challenge is trying to find a guest or a way of making this work, you know, Emma's in hospital, and it really pales the comparison of my challenges to hers right now. And same with you last week. Like, the challenges that you were facing last week were extraordinary. It was a huge run of events that you were dealing with, and, you know, it puts in perspective my life. And as much as we can create our own, you know, mountains to climb, it's being able to be surrounded by a community and a village vibe that helps us find perspective in our own position and situations. My win is, like, thinking that challenge is so great this morning, getting that message and the mix of emotions, yet, you know, here we are now. So I thank you, Trav. I thank everybody that's showed up, because there are so many alternatives of how you spend your time and your energy. And thank you for your trust in me that, you know, we put something on that's worth your time and priority. So I thank everybody for coming along. I thank anyone that's listening to this on the podcast, and we're going to give Trav a big high five, and then we are going to stop the recording. And the bonus is for people that turn up to the Zoom room is we're going to throw it out. If anyone's got any more questions for Trav or anything that they can, you know, if Trav's got something they can help with, or just more comments and conversation about this meaning of life question is open to more discussion. So thank you, Trav, for coming along. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Been awesome.
You are an absolute legend, and I knew that you'd be so good to chat with, as I get that amazing opportunity to be, you know, friends with you and give you a call and get in your ear and see where you're at and what's happening in your life. And you're inspiring for me. And
thank you. And ditto.
So grateful to have such epic people in my circle. So thank you very much, and we will wrap this one up.
Bye.